it seems like a wide range of YouTubers are coming out trying to downplay Princess Peach Showtime. I just saw like a review of Gerard the Completionist doing the doing his coverage of the game. And first of all, like his editing has gone to crap, right? He's done, right? Everybody on his team has left. Like the editing seems choppy, the voice work seems choppy. He seems less enthusiastic about the whole ordeal in general. And yeah, I suppose it's because he knows that like his time on the platform is limited, right? You know, the grift is over. Like he's never gonna recover from this, like from the whole charity scheme incident. Like he's done, right? I know like some people like love to say he's recovered, but like it's a lot like the Pro Jared thing, where like he still has loyal fans, but at the same time, the decline is very real, right? Like you can see like the massive decline in viewership, right? So yeah, he's doing this video. He sounds miserable as all out, right? Like he sounds terrible. And he's trying to sit there. And first of all, like he does the thing they all do. Like every single like fraud Nintendo YouTuber does this is that they talk about the company and they're just like, "Oh, this is probably going to be the last year for the Switch." You know, they do the Elmer Fudd laugh because it's like it's such a stupid thing. They do this like every episode, right? You know, every video is just like, "Oh, the Switch 2 is coming out soon." Like they try so hard to convince you that like, oh, this is it for the Switch, this is it for Nintendo, right? They're not going to outsell the PS2, right? This is the last year for the Switch, right? And they have to do that in order to like try and sell you on like the other platforms, like oh, like the PS5 and the Series X are where it's really at right now. But like more and more, I think people are starting to see through it, right? You know, I've been talking about this for years, and I think it's becoming more and more annoying, right? You know, like I saw Video Game Lover 58 cover like Princess Peach Showtime, and he had like two complaints, right? The frame rate and the fact that like I don't know, like Switch hasn't been replaced yet. Like, really? That's what you're gonna talk about in your video? Like, oh, Nintendo needs a new console now. No, they don't. Like, they really, really don't. And these people seem completely incapable of seeing that. But like another thing they seem incapable of is understanding what a fun video game is. Because it's been really shocking to me personally, you know, seeing all these critics. Like, you know, I watched like Arlo play like halfway through the game, and then I skipped to the ending, right? And like throughout the entire time, he's trying to find like reasons to hate it. Like he's trying to like complain about all of the modes and the features and stuff like that. He's trying to complain about like how it's too easy while failing at like you know, feeding zombies or whatever. Like it's pathetic. And then at the end he tries to say that like, oh, the game had a lot of problems. What problems? Right? Like this is my thing with like Princess Peach Showtime. What problems do you, the gamer, have with the game? Oh, it's too short. No, it's not. Like, oh, it's too easy. No, it's not. You know, like the game is a perfectly enjoyable romp, right? Like I loved the game. And I've seen plenty of people like say the same things, you know, like the game has like a very charming design. It has a lot of variety, great enemy designs, great music. You know, I've been listening to the OST like quite a bit over the past couple of days. Like, I really wanted to fire the game up this weekend and play it again if I wasn't so busy with my work, right? So it's like one of those things where I'm just like, okay, like I love the game, but like it seems like the majority of gaming YouTubers are desperately trying to downplay it, right? Like, oh, how dare Nintendo put this out in the condition it's in? But like in reality, it's perfectly serviceable, right? Like I think the game did fantastic. Was fantastic. Like it was way way better than I was expecting, right? Like, and I think a lot of other people who aren't going into this like completely biased feel the same way. But again, I'm tired of this happening with every single Nintendo release. Like it feels like every major release now since like 2022. Like everybody's been saying that like, oh, this is the last major release for the Switch. It's disappointing, but what are you gonna do? Nintendo is moving on to the next platform. You know, they did it with like Legends Arceus. They did this with Scarlet and Violet, Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Fire Emblem Engage, you know, Cereza and the Lost Demon. Like it's crazy how like all these great games don't really seem to be talked about all that much. Meanwhile, every single video, these guys are just like, oh, foaming at the mouth, like, oh, where's the Switch 2? Where's the Switch 2? Like, if you've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, right, with like the foaming mouth guy, like, like that is what they're like. Like every single time they see the Switch 2, right? They just become the foaming mouth guy, right? Like that is their identity at this point is like downplaying Nintendo now in order to hype up a Nintendo that will never exist. Because like what is the narrative regarding Switch 2? Oh, it's going to be super powerful and it's going to play all these third-party games. Like if parties were interested in supporting Nintendo, simply haven't done it like at all in any way, shape, or form. And it seems like the vast majority of the audience doesn't want to admit it, right? Switch is well on its way to becoming the best-selling console, right? PlayStation had to update their sales numbers for PS2 to try to like put more of a gap between them and the Nintendo Switch, but in reality, like the Switch easily outsold the PS4, which was very highly hyped for its like high sales numbers, even though it didn't do all that well, right? Like where are the third parties? Where is the support? And where are the fans actually talking about the games? Like I've commented on this before, but like it's really weird how there's this like narrative regarding like, oh, there's no discussion about Princess Peach Showtime. There's no discussion about Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Wonder. So these games have failed. Nobody's talking about them. But like the reality is like we're playing these games and talking about them like years after launch. But it's not through like mainstream channels. Like we're not going on Twitter where we're gonna be harassed by like haters or whatever, right? Like I'm at the point now where I straight up do not use 4chan at all, right? Like if I want to talk about a game, I'll just go to my YouTube channel and monetize it. Like why in the world would I ever like talk about a game on like a public forum? So my view on this right now is that like um I think YouTubers in general are more interested in discussing about games that will make them money, right? They are talking about games that will, from companies that will give them sponsorships. They are talking about games that have very strong online presences, right? They aren't talking about Princess Peach Showtime because it's not making them money. It has nothing to do with the quality of the game. It has everything to do with its audience, right? Five Nights at Freddy's is a really good example of that. The games are terrible, but they have a very strong, dedicated online audience. Undertale is one of the worst games ever made, but it has a very strong, dedicated online audience because of Toby Fox being like, an infiltrator, a leftist infiltrator into the Japanese video game development industry, right? Like again, like this is a real phenomenon now. Like something that I wish more people would talk about is that like a lot of bad games do have strong online followings, right? But a lot of good games are getting shafted for no reason. And I do think that's kind of my feelings towards Princess Peach Showtime right now is that it is one of the best games of the year so far. It's way better than like trash like Tekken 8 or Baldur's Gate 3 or Elden Ring, right? Princess Peach Showtime is going to be a classic like 10, 20 years from now. And right now we're in this like weird phase where everybody is in denial about it. I suppose only because it suits their agenda.